This is where we have conducted several of the Dean reunions. We call this Brushy Creek Campground. As you can see, it is called Anderson Campground, but I'm not sure when the last time we were here, but I remember probably in the late 40s. That's the best I can remember. This is where you'd come in from the road to see the tabernacle as you approached it. And of course, we had picnic lunches and singing and sermons inside, and then some of us would go outside and would eat. Some of us would play outside, others would just visit, but it was a good time that was enjoyed by all. See, this has been entered in the National Register. Elm, what do we say this was? Elm what? Elmwood? Elm Cemetery in Anderson County, where Daniel Frank Dean I and his wife were buried. This is November the 10th, 1991. We're taking this picture. This is very close to Brushy Creek in Anderson County, where the reunions in the past have been held, and as you saw in that picture earlier. So Daniel Frank Dean I, born in what year?
1874.
1874, July, and died. Can't read that, can we? I have to get it off.
You know, we have to.
Oh, there was born up there. He died in 1874.
1818 born.
Born in 1818. What did it read down there? Gone? But not. Died.
July 4.
Okay.
1974.
Gone but not forgotten.
That's right. Gone but not forgotten.
1874, yes. And you remember the Masons?
Masonic.
Masonic. Oh, okay. Is his wife Ann Jetta.
Ann Jetta.
Born October the 6th, 1822. Died November the 16th, 1885. Not a, what's that rest I say? Dead, but sleeping. Just outside, as you see from the grave, is very close to the fence. Just outside of the fence, there are some graves. I'm told that those are the graves of the slaves. They were put there because they would not allow them outside the fence. And as I swivel around at a distance up there, you can see others. I'm not sure whether they're in the right place, but at least you can see different view of the area toward the front of the cemetery, facing east, which would be the way that you would come in. In the background, there's a highway that goes between LaRue and on down to Powhatan. I guess it's actually between Pointer. And we're not sure whether this is a little chapel that was here originally in LaRue Cemetery, and this is the grave headstone of my grandfather, E.B. Dean. You see, born April 21st, 1860? I can't read it. And died July the 8th, 1928, resting in peace. 1850 it is, okay. Is his wife, Eliza Ann, born March 30th, 1855, died March the 25th, 1918. Too good to suffer, in Jesus asleep. She sleeps.
That's my name again, Ann.
Next to her
My great-grandmother and my grandmother.
is the grave of Maud A. Dean, first wife of D.F. Dean, who died in childbirth in 1914. Elizabeth O. Dean, wife of Uncle Charlie C.J. Dean, mother of Robert Jack Dean, in childbirth. Grave of Belle Cook, Maud, and her first husband, John C. Cook, who died in 1925. Bill died in 1950. This is Otis Cook, who died in Hawaii. And next to him, Otha and Alvin Cook. The house of Elijah Bell Dean and his wife. Father of Bell, Hatley, Frank, Walter, etc. The property was bought several years ago by Brian Hall, and he redid the house. This is part of the original house. It's covered up in here somewhere. Possibly some of our kinfolk know what it is, but this is located close to LaRue, and that's Annette Pulley there, and Ken Clancy is there looking it over. I'm going to walk up there now and see what.
I don't remember.
This is the place where pictures were taken of the Dean family, the family pictures that show the porch on the front and all. We just went inside, and Annette remembers when she was in there before, so she's going to say something about that.
Yes, it looks so different outside. I can't get any feeling for it outside. But inside, the mantle and the fireplace is still there. And I got a feeling there of Uncle Nat sitting there by the fire with, he'd always grab me and I was scared of him. He'd say, "Come here, girl," and he'd say, "Look at my pocket." And he'd have shelled walnuts in his pocket. I felt that.
So Uncle Nat was living here at that time?
Oh yeah. And then walked on into the kitchen area, and I felt something there, but I didn't see a round table. And there should have been a big round table looking back out over the fields in the back. And then to the left, there should be barns, because that's where we played and all. But inside, just a little bit of the feeling of the house was there. It used to seem much larger. And I'm sure Brian changed it a lot and could tell us maybe what he had changed and what's still there that was original. So we're going to have to come back. They said that the cellar over here to the right was still there. They covered it up. And that's where we spent a lot of cool times when it was hot weather, because it was always cool down in the cellar, but it had spiders in it. Outside now, between the house and the barns, all this fence looks very familiar. And then you can stand here and look out. The countryside looks the same, because you can see the trees and the hills back in there. Must be Fincastle back in there. Yes, but too big for pecan trees at the back. Yeah, those were not as large, but yeah, there were pecans. We always picked up pecans. That's where Uncle Nat had the pecans that he always feed me when I'd come to see him. Yeah. There's a little nut.
Well, we were here. Just wait for it. No. Yeah, we were 57. You were out. Take care. Bye.
Okay, stop. You're all.
I'm Bernice Cochran, and I'm descendant of Lita Leota Dean and V.C. Hall of Athens.
Who's there with you?
This is my husband, Gene Cochran,
Well, where'd you come from today?
Chandler,
Live in Chandler.
live in Chandler.
And how many kids?
Four,
4 kids,
6 grandchildren.
6 grandchildren, and 3 son-in-laws.
That's a lot.
Quite a few.
Now, were you here at the 1952 reunion?
No, this is the first time we've been to the Dean reunion.
Okay.
My father, Willie Hall, that's my father.
That's a grandson-in-law's.
He, we used to go, didn't they have this at New York? The Dean reunion or something there?
Frank Dean played for New York baseball. That's the only New York connection I know. Now, who was your mother?
Johnny Hall.
Johnny Hall.
Johnny Hall,
But
Cade.
Cade.
Johnny Hall Cade.
But
Johnny Cade Hall.
Johnny
see,
Cade
my
Hall.
father's name is Willie Hall, and his father's name was Bo Clayton Hall. And he was married to Lena Dean. We lived here in Athens.
He and that
He
thing
was
up
Justice
and let
of
it
Peace
hang
here
down like a pony
for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Big man.
They lived up by Spanish Trace Inn.
That's the way I do with my
Yeah.
ponies at home. You have to make them look like them kind of skinny.
Hi, I'm Dean Frizzell, and this is my wife Elizabeth. And at present, we live in downtown French Settlement. That's about 20 miles outside of Baton Rouge. And we hope sometime that if y'all get the opportunity that you will drop in and see us, and we might take you on a tour of the New Orleans area. We have one daughter. Her name is Christine. She got married 1 year ago to a gentleman in the service, and he's still in the service, and she's still at home. She's attending nursing school at present, and we're hoping soon that they get out on their own, and then we'll do our thing. It was indeed. And my mother was Mattie Frizzell, and my dad was V.H. Virgil Hall Frizzell, and mother, of course, was Mattie Dean, a member of the Big Dean clan. And it has indeed been a pleasure being here and meeting all the Deans and their families. Again, it was great.
What's out there? Not a lot, but some.
Okay,
Am
we're ready.
I already going?
You're going.
Well, I'm Zora Mae Dean Davis. I should say Wilson Davis. My first husband and my children were all Wilsons. I had 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. And I later married a man, Jim Davis, and he had 3 girls. And we have 6 families. One of the couples married each other, so my son married his daughter. And through that marriage, I have 3 granddaughters, 3 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandson. And then my youngest boy was James Wilson, and in his family, I have, he married Ruth Wilson first, and from her he had 5 children. And you have 10 grandchildren,
And what are you going to be doing?
great-grandchildren. And,
That's a lot of grand.
yo, you don't know the half of it yet. And then my girls, my oldest daughter had 1 child, and from her she had 2 children. It's 2 of my grandchildren. And then they've had 2 children. And it gives me a great, great family. And then my second daughter had 4 children, and 2 boys and 2 girls. And from them, there are 7 grandchildren. Is that right? I've got that all written down home. I can't remember all of them.
That's fine.
And then I have great-grandchildren and that family. And that took care of the 4 children. And then my stepdaughters, each of them had 3 children, and she has 11. They have 11 great-grandchildren. And I have these heads of my great-grandchildren. I have 32 great-great-grandchildren and 2 great. They're the great-great. I have 32 great-grandchildren and 2 great-great. We've had 5 generations.
Are they all here? How many are here?
Well, here we have, I have 3 granddaughters here, and my son and his wife is 5, and myself is 6. That's the immediate family. I also brought my sister-in-law, who is George Dean's wife, and he's deceased, and that makes 7 that I'm responsible for being here. Now then, I live in Vida, and most of my children live in Vida, and grandchildren are in that area. I have one in Odessa, a family there, and Louisiana. the stepdaughters, 2 of them live in Louisiana, Jennings. Yeah. I guess that's enough
That's
for me. I had no kids myself and didn't come.
okay.
Oh, is this on?
Yep.
Well, I'm a descendant of Ezra E. Dean, and he was one of the brothers of the Elijah Bell Dean. And that's about as far as I know how to go back to, but we go back to the Daniel Deans. I believe that's about as much as I can give you right. I
Off
don't
the
know.
top of for you.
Turn that off.
Hello to everybody. I'm here at the Dean reunion and having a ball. My Dean connection is through my grandmother Smith, Frances M. Dean, and she had 9 brothers. And when I was a child, I used to say, Granny, did you have any brothers? She said, yes, I had 9. Did they have any sisters? Yeah, each one of them had a sister. And it'd take us hours at a time to figure out she was the only child. I live at Meta, Texas, out south of Lubbock, which is out about 2 counties from the New Mexico line. And we was farmers all for years and years. And my husband died at 88 with cancer, and then 17 months later I lost my oldest daughter with cancer. And my mother died in a rest home. She was a Jones from Young County. But when Mother and Dad married, they came back down to Athens and lived. And I was born out here at what you call Phillips Chapel community. And then we moved to Ash, and that's where I started school, was out a little community of Ash, and the relatives, Grandma and Grandpa Smith, and them are all buried at the little Ash cemetery. And I remember the John Dean's family real well. Cousin Charlie Dean lived close to us, and that's some of Uncle Elijah's family. And we just didn't go anywhere much. We went to town about twice a year. I think it's 6 miles from Ash out to Athens. And we'd go to the parades or something like that. And I remember a lot of the people that were just close by because we didn't travel in those days. I remember coming across the old Caldwell Bridge, and it had a spring on it, and we could jump out of the wagon and get us a drink and all the way into Athens. And just childhood memories. And we left Athens. There's 6 of us born here at Ash. And we left in 1924 and went out west. And I think I was about 12 years old. And in 1928, we moved at Meta. We moved over to the little community of Lakeview, and that's where I still live. But right now, since I'm alone, I'm selling out my place, and I'm going to move into Lubbock in an apartment, and that's going to be a big change. But lived a long life. I said I'm scared 80 to death now, but I play like I'm just barely 79. And I hope that I keep feeling good and my health holds out. But this has been a treat to be down here, to see everyone. And I think that's about all I know about. Is that all I'm supposed to tell?
My name is Debbie Dean. This is my mother, Virginia Dean. My father is T.R. Dean, and he is a descendant of Justice Mack Dean, who was the son of Daniel I. We live in Temple, Texas. My parents live in Moody. I have an older sister, her name is Mary Wanda, and an older brother, Freddie, and a younger sister, Charlotte.
Now what do you do? Are you working now?
Yes, I'm a medical secretary at Scott and White Clinic in Temple, and my father is a farmer. My mother.
You're not checked like all the other people around you.
No. No.
And were you at the reunion in 52 or
No.
47 or 57?
This is the first
This is
one.
the first one. And you were married to who?
TR.
T.R.
His daddy was Emmett.
Emmett. Okay. And how many grandkids?
We have 6 grandkids.
3.
4 boys and 2 girls.
And how many great-grandkids?
Not any.
Not any. One lady had 32.
Oh my goodness.
You there?
All right. My father is George Stanton Dean. My mother is Susanna K. Clancy. And my only brother is Daniel Frank Dean.
Is he good for anything?
Very little.
Very little.
What can you say about an attorney?
Yeah.
Okay. See, well, how much other trouble can I get into right now? Let's see.
Who's your favorite cousin?
Favorite cousin? Gee, I could get in a lot of trouble.
Okay, we'll save you.
Liza Ann Bohan.
Okay, Robert Jack,
Yes, sir.
Virginia. Tell us all about yourself.
Well, my father was Charlie Dean, and my mother was, she died when I was born, and my father remarried, and he married Ruby Browning, and she had a daughter that was about, when I was about 5 years old, and she had a daughter about 4. And after that, they had a daughter together, which would be my half-sister. Her name was Ernest. And now she's married to Dean Pulley, and they have 2 children, and they have grandchildren. And in 1949, I married my wife, Eugenia, here in Athens, Texas. And we've been married
A long time.
A long time. And we have 2 children, and I graduated me and him. And I tell people that everybody in my family has a master's degree from college, and none of us can spell "the." So getting a degree from college didn't seem to advance our intelligence any. But we do have 2 children. His name is Charlie. I named him after my father. And Charlie Jack Dean, just like my father was named Charlie Jack. And we have a daughter. Her name is Sharon Ann. And she's now married. And my son is a graduate of A&M, like I say, and he was married but now divorced. And my daughter is, they had no children. And my daughter is now married to Rick Mullaney, and they live in El Reno, Oklahoma, and they have 4 children. The boys, the oldest, Walter, and Jacqueline, Deanna, and R.J. Richard Jack.
Richard Jack, they call him R.J.
They call him R.J. because I use the word R.J. It seems like to me that Sharon was my daughter's really getting close to me, because you'll notice the second child was named Jacqueline, and I go by Jack. The next one was named Deanna, which is pretty close to Dean. And the 4th one was R.J., which is the way I sound my name. So undoubtedly she is playing on my emotions or something. But I appreciate it. I shouldn't say that, but I do. And this is Eugenia, my wife, and she's been a great person to me. And used to, when I was at A&M, and I was at A&M, your grandfather, Darwood Dean, was an inspiration and a great help throughout my entire life. We did things together, many, everything that you can think of as young boys growing up, because there's only about 8 months difference in our ages. And he is one that caused me to go to A&M. He's the one that inspired me to stay there. And he should have stayed. He shouldn't have left. He left and I stayed, but he was the smarter one, and he was a great man. But I guess the greatest thing in my life was when I was at A&M, and I always pray that God help me find a good lady. You know, I don't want a bad lady. I want a good lady. I don't want a wild lady. I want a good lady. And he helped me find one, and I'm just real proud of that. So that's about our life.
I'm Mike Pulley. My mom is Annette Dean Pulley. My granddad is Charlie. It's my wife Joni. My daughter Jennifer. This one on the end is Will. And this is Zachary. So that when you're old you can see this again, okay? And that's our family. What do you want to know about us? Anything else?
You live here in Athens?
We're in Athens, been here almost forever, probably will be here forever.
You used to play Santa Claus when you were a kid.
I have had a Santa Claus suit on. And I'm getting a bigger belly, so I might play Santa Claus again.
Did you have to wait for your hair to turn white? You have red hair now?
Yeah.
You wanted to be a professional wrestler one time?
Possibly, I don't remember.
That's what I remember. Well, that would do. That's
Okay.
I'm Daniel Frank Dean. This is my wife Michelle, son Michael, and daughter Sarah Elizabeth. I am the son of Durward Stanton Dean. I have a brother, Michael James Dean. We're the only two boys of the union of Durward Stanton Dean, and my mother, Susanna Kelly Dean. My grandparents are Molly Geneva Dean and Daniel Frank Dean, of whom I was named after. And they were originally from Athens, Texas, and we live in Palestine, Texas, and I am an attorney working in that community. Sarah Elizabeth at this time is 6 months old, Michael's 5, and I'm not going to tell anyone how old she is.
I'm getting younger.
And we might have one more. Maybe. No commitment on the camera?
No.
No commitment? No. There's a possibility of it. We've discussed it.
Not a real good possibility, though.
But a possibility.
All ready? Can you smile? Yeah. Can you grin, Kelly? Let me get one more just in case that one doesn't do well. Kelly, I'm going to tickle you so you don't laugh. Okay, that's good.
You know I can't smile, you know how it does.
We're the three Smith cousins, and these two are the only ones I got left down here in Athens.
And this is Mildred,
Mildred, Cecil,
Cecil, and
Cully Dunn.
Cully
Dunn.
Dunn, D-U-N-N. And that's the three cousins, that's it?
No, we got more in the country, but we're the only three
Okay,
here.
okay.
I live out yonder, and these are the only two left here in Athens.
Did you know that you were all three going to be here today?
I didn't know I was going to be here till the day before yesterday. That planning will get you every time.
Our granny was a sister to all the Dean boys. She had 9 brothers, and she was the only girl.
Oh, that's the one that kept, she was a smart one, said all my brothers had one sister.
Yeah, that's the reason I wrote that little thing. Each had a sister. And we'd say, Granny, how many sisters, how many brothers you have? I had 9, and each one of them had a sister. And it'd just take us for hours to figure that out.
That must have been a slow day.
We loved her. Let's go. Get me up now.
Gotcha.
Did you see
And I would just take it.
You ready?
That's a handful.
He's going to fall asleep.
And that one is about to go to sleep. Look at the picture.
Wait a minute. Look
Oh, okay.
perfect now.
Nice.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, whenever you're ready, tell us who you are, where you've been, where you're going.
Well, I'm Elton E. Dean, the son of Ezra, and I've been known all of my life as Bubba. And this is my wife, Belle, and my daughter, Denise. I have one other daughter, Donna. She lives in Birmingham, Alabama. And she has one son, and he's 18 years old now.
18. And where did you come from today?
Palestine.
Palestine, okay. So you hang around with Danny.
Oh, yeah, we...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've lived in Palestine all our life.
Good place to be from.
Good place to stay.
It's a good place to be.
Good place to be.
Well, and I'm coming full circle because I live in Athens now. I moved from Palestine to Athens. I teach school up here.
We like, that's another nice place to be. This is Kayla. I'm George, son of Ernest and Gloria Dean, the youngest of 4. The oldest being the photographer, Matt. And then there's Andy, John Anderson the second. And then Deborah's third child, of which I'm the last. And this is Kayla, my wife Wendy. Couldn't make it today, she's working. She is out of the Woodlands, Texas. And I don't know where I'm from. All over.
There's no space to stand behind. We can sit real close.
Is everybody finished?
No, we still got one more that hasn't worked. Kathleen?
Yeah, someone will pick up my camera.
Let Bubba take a break.
Say queso. Good flash? Well, all right. So don't move it. We've got you on the moving camera too.
Then we can move. Who's going to
Now, yeah, sure. Now you can relax. Now, who are we taking a picture of here? We go from one end to the other.
Well, I'm the kingfish.
Kingfish. Now, we've already interviewed you, and
Yeah, yeah.
you are.
But this is Zora Mae Dean Davis.
I'm Wallace Wilson,
Wallace Wilson.
son of Zora Mae Dean Davis.
No, yeah,
I'm Jeannie Simpson. I'm Zora's granddaughter. Her son, James Wilson, is my father.
And I'm Kathleen Ledbetter. My dad is James Wilson. I'm Jeannie's sister and James's oldest daughter. I'm Ma's granddaughter.
I'm Eloise Wilson. I'm Zora Mae's daughter-in-law, and this is my husband Wallace at the other end.
And I'm Betty McGee, and I'm the youngest daughter of Wallace and Eloise Wilson.
And you all live in...
I live in Point Blank, Texas.
I live in Bridge City.
We live about her.
And I live in San Antonio.
And how often do you get together?
As often as we can.
Frequently.
2 or 3 times a year.
At least 2 or 3 times a year.
Did you tell them earlier how many children you had?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
I've got all that down.
I got a headpiece for it.
Now, where do you get those headpieces at?
Well, the kids had that when they'd have a baby, they'd have a headpiece made, the date and so on it. And
Her grandchildren's name and birthdates on each one of these little heads.
but I don't have them all yet. I got this many.
Does each one of them look like a head?
Yes, one's either a boy or a girl.
Well,
It
it's
either has a
Barbara.
ponytail or...
Some of them are round, or whatever kind they decided on at the jewelry store where they got me they wanted me to show that inside there, but
You keep it,
yeah.
you pull it out so you can say, this is what I've got.
It came at first, it was a bracelet. Then got to be so many after we had to string them out. I still don't have the 32.
The 32? So who's holding out on you?
All the great-grandchildren. I have my grandchildren.
I have 2 daughters. Jeannie has a daughter and a son.
We have an older brother, J.R., and a younger brother, Tommy, and then we have a little sister who lives in Wichita, Kansas. Tommy has 2 sons, J.R. has 3 daughters, and Lois has 1 of each.
This is Dennis Dean, widow of George P. Dean, who was the only son of Ezra.
Okay, man. The next morning, he called and said, "Are you sure you want to go home?"
Oh, he's starting to back out?
Of course he did.
Oh.
If you'd been right where he had.
Well, tell you
He'd be
that.
green.
Yeah, here, have a seat.
Okay, are you going to do the interviewing?
I'll get you started. If you slow down, I'll
What?
promote you. Go ahead. Okay.
My name's Sue Dean. I married Dover Dean. Matthew has requested me to tell how I met him. Is that true?
Well, I thought that was a good idea.
You
I
did?
thought that was a good story.
Well, he wasn't the Iceman. He was the milkman. He delivered milk to my sister and brother-in-law. And that's how I met him. And I've had 2 sons, Danny and Mike. And that's it.
And you
And I've been
came-
very happy to
You came to the family from
Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
And did you marry Derwin before the war or after the war?
after the war.
And you met him after the war?
After the war, yes.
And then you raised your family in Palestine?
No, started off in Tyler, Texas. And then we moved to Palestine 30 years ago. Okay? Now, Matthew, you can shut this thing off, okay?
Thank you, Nancy Taylor.
You're welcome.
What about if I get back there?
Well, that would work, I could do.
Yeah, can
Right
you slide
there?
in there?
My goodness, I'm gonna soften these cameras, I'm scared.
All right here.
How about this? How about this?
Is
Great.
this good?
How about this?
I hear flashing
start
cameras.
now.
Get everybody here?
Ready?
Can you see us all?
Robert, say cheese. Cheese.
Cheese.
We can't understand
Whiskey.
how this young lady got in here, this cousin got in here from California that looks so young now.
And that's so, she's just the youngest one all the way around, though.
I bet Robert don't know how to drive an Aggie crazy.
You gonna tell him?
Yeah, put him in a round room, tell him to go pee in the corner.
I did always have on down.
Well, I'm working now, I bet I could circle that bush.
Made us laugh anyway, didn't
Wouldn't even need a corner.
Won't you write circle ones that tell one that I
It's
know?
on my 5th anniversary.
Am I in front of you, RJ?
But I bet you Dr. Harsh could lay some more on us.
Oh, take that too.
The camera stuff.
I've got everybody. Yeah, okay, close enough.
Thank you.
Well, when you get all these artificial joints, it gets tough when you get out.
Really?
I couldn't get out like he did.
Oh, my. He showed up.
You tell that brother, that baby brother of yours, we sure miss him, will you?
Yes, sir, I'll tell him.
We got a nice little thing.
Well, he sent me birds.
Yeah, he said that they were expecting his first great grandbaby, and they wanted to leave, so.
Yeah, he was loud.
Anyway,
Johnny was the next young.
start raising great kids.
Yeah, my two
Well,
sisters.
I don't know.
And he sees him.
It's amazing when you get up.
This is the Cook family. Okay.
I know I brought Nancy's mom up to
Mom,
Nan's.
come on over here. Yeah, come here.
Shirley, quick.
Come here. She got here. Sit and step on the table.
Oh, wait.
I brought Mom and Daddy up here that,
We'll get you all here close.
back to old New
Get a little
York.
closer.
And we went down to,
Well, Pierce is in the middle, it's kind of hard.
There you go. That was cold.
we were going, I mean, we went all night long.
That's what I want to do.
That was cold, wasn't it?
You already have. Don't say anything, right?
Right.
Okay.
Now, he can talk.
Yeah, James.
He can do,
I wouldn't have
he
anything.
loves to talk.
Yeah,
He loves
he
it.
can talk about food.
You just, you
How he likes to
ought
eat it.
tell them that, you know, that BC couldn't be here on account of ill health and Gilbert.
Yeah.
Might tell them all that.
I could have said that up there, but I was the quickest to turn that thing loose.
I know, kind of threw you.
Yeah, I did.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay.
You're on. You didn't want to talk, no?
No, I don't.
Your dad's first cousin.
Yeah.
And you must be dad's second cousin.
No.
I'm the husband.
I'm her daughter, and this is my husband.
Okay, your dad's second cousin.
Right. No, he's not related at all.
By marriage,
marriage.
second
Yeah.
cousin by marriage.
Yeah.
And I can't see your tags. This
Okay,
is
Margaret Daniel.
Daniel.
Mhm, Margaret Dean Daniel. Anna Daniel Wilson. And this is my husband, James Wilson. Mother has 3 daughters. I'm the oldest. Myrna is the next, and then Judy. Let's see. I have 2 children. Myrna has had 2 children. One died last year. And Judy has 2 children, age 14 and 6. And I have 3 grandchildren.
I wouldn't know
No.
that. No.
I'm not going to tell you how old they
One of them has graduated from high school.
are. And I guess that's...
I have a question. Robert Jack didn't know your name was Daniel. Margaret Daniel.
He didn't know my name. He just knew Margaret and nothing else.
Is that because there are so many cousins?
No, well, he just didn't know. He just didn't know who I married. And he kept telling the people there in New Boston that he had a cousin, a first cousin, mind you. And he wanted to get in touch with her, but he didn't know her name. All he knew was Margaret. so he didn't ever get in touch with me.
Now, how long did he use that excuse?
Oh, 4 or 5 years.
Did you know Durwood too?
Yeah, I knew Durwood, but I didn't know too much about him.
Okay, so
Because
you
he's
did.
younger than I am.
Yeah.
He left Athens after I did. And I left when I was about 21 years old, and I haven't been back here to live.
Where did you go?
I went to Illinois, and then to New Boston, and then to Texarkana, and then back to New Boston.
Where's New Boston?
Oh, about 30 miles from Texarkana.
And did you live in Chicago?
No.
Did you live where it's cold?
Salem, Illinois is where I lived.
Salem, Illinois.
Yeah, it was cold there.
I bet.
But we didn't stay there but 3 years.
So why did you go up there?
To get a job.
To get a job. And you followed your husband.
Yeah.
Now, why did he go? I mean,
Well, the war broke out, and he wanted to get the family back home.
and he was from Illinois.
Yeah, he was from
He's from New Boston.
New Boston.
New Boston.
New Boston.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just lived around that area all of my life.
One more question. He went to Illinois
For 2 years.
for work.
For a job.
Because he needed to feed his family.
Right.
Okay.
But then when the war broke out, he came back to New Boston.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's good. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
Are badges on here? Or?
Oh, this can't read them.
Oh, okay. No, then let's go.
Now, you think this is a Mitsubishi camera? License by TRW?
Right. With a high resolution.
I hope it's recording, and I hope we're getting all the noise we're supposed to.
Okay.
You're on.
It's going.
What are we supposed to do?
Who's your prettiest daughter?
Jackie and Terry.
Jackie and Terry. That's one daughter?
That's 2 daughters.
And you have one son?
One son,
And his name?
Wayne, Clint Wayne.
They're all born?
Wayne.
They were all born in
In Visalia, California.
Visalia.
2
That's-
years apart.
And that's where you met your husband?
No, met him at Redondo Beach.
What's his name?
Ken Clancy.
Is he related to Thomas Clancy?
No, he is not.
And you had a son that came
Named Mark.
Mark. And he's in business in Hawaii?
No, that's Jackie that's in Hawaii.
Jackie's in Hawaii.
Yeah, Brad and Jackie live in Hawaii. And I'll tell about JB.
Yeah, JB's going to school at SC in Irvine, and he wants to be a lawyer. He graduates next year from college and then to law school.
Has he been accepted? Is he still sweating?
No, he's not sure where he's going yet. He hasn't decided.
And Terry, she's into... Man.
She's a buyer for iMagnum up in Wilshire in Los Angeles.
And what? I've heard you mention Magnum. I don't know who they are.
It isn't, well, it's a part of Macy's in New York, I think it is. They've just taken over. It was Bullock's.
And your mother was
Ora Mae Dean.
Ora Mae Dean. That's M-A-E. Dean. And she married.
Wilva Jennings Neville.
And they married in Texas. And moved to
To
California.
Arizona and then California.
Why Arizona?
I don't know.
Well, that's where I was born. But that didn't have anything
I had
to
to
do
chase
with
him down, I guess.
Yeah, he was, her father was a teamster. He drove a team of horses, and they actually came to California by horse. Horse-drawn wagon. And he built roads.
And he put in all the streets in Long Beach and Pasadena in that area with his horses.
That's when they actually used horses for construction. And that's where the name Teamster comes from. He was a real teamster.
Huh. And what year did they go out there? I thought it was like 40. It must have been before.
Oh, it was a long time before. I was born there in 26.
Wow. That family just passed through Texas. That part of the family did. Anything else you'd like to leave for posterity? Like a year from now? Or maybe next time your daughter Terry, you'll say, hey, Terry, you should have been here?
Well, hopefully we can make it for the next reunion. That's what we're hoping we can do. Love to have her go if she can get off work and come.
Now, you came out this time by airplane.
First time I've flown out here. I've seen it, and we drove in cars, and then we took the train when I was 2.5 to come out.
And who knows what your last trip will be.
Yes.
It might be a fast train if they ever get that. We're going to get you all in there. Andrew, can you get in here?
Andrew. Let me get.
Okay, great. Now, who wants to be the speaker?
I will. What was I supposed to say? Our kids?
Just tell us. This is just like a family picture. This is your family.
Okay, not descendants of anyone.
Whatever you want.
We're on camera. Okay, I'm Nikki Pulley. My wife Melissa. I'm not gonna tell how old we are. Preston, Caleb, and Andrew. And I'm a grandson of Charlie Dean. And I noticed a film a while ago, and he did this, and I'm gonna do it too. They say I look like him. And we've had a good time today. Anyone else want to say anything?
What are you going to
Okay. Okay.
I'm 8 years old.
Have you lived all 8 years in the same place?
Yes. Yes, sir.
What are you going to be when you grow up?
A track runner or a comedian.
Who's your favorite comedian?
I don't watch comedians.
But you're going to be a comedian? And what about your brothers? What are they going to do?
I'm going to be a scientist and inventor. Those people who make experiments. And I'm 10 years old. I'm in 5th grade.
And I'm happy to have married into such a neat family. Seems like everybody is real happy. I just like the name.
What are you going to be when you grow up, Andrew? Tell him.
Tell him. No.
You tell him it's nap time?
No.
And I'm 38, and you're how old?
I don't remember.
Mommy. Mommy.
Okay, Leanne, let's get behind this.
And let Granddaddy sit there next to Grandma.
Mom.
Who else?
Come on, Susan, Stephen. Where you want me to sit?
Well, then you need to sit there. Oh, she's awake.
Aaron, can you get it on the ground too? And by your grandfather? There you go.
Whitney,
That's
want to
great.
come around?
Where's Whitney?
This is Whitney.
Whitney.
Whitney, can we
Wake
turn
up just a
around?
minute. Can you wake up a minute?
We want to get your picture.
Is that Stephen way at the back? Stephen, let's see where we can. Stephen, you can fit down here at your mother's knees.
Okay.
Can you move that pillow? My grandma will all slide down. Yeah.
There you go.
She moved it.
Wait.
Now, Grandma, are you Uncle Bethel's wife? Surely not. I didn't know that.
Looks too young, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Right there.
You'll never know that Whitney was here.
That's okay. Now, who's going to be the speaker for this group?
Speaker?
Or who wants to? You know what you're going to do? This is just like a family portrait.
Tell us about it.
Okay, ready? I'm going to turn it on. You're going to be on now.
What am I supposed to say?
This is your family. Whatever. Do the family
Let's
picture.
introduce everybody, I guess.
Who are you? I can start with that. Where'd you come from? Where are you going?
This is the family of Bethel Dean. This is his wife Eunice. I'm Robert. This is my wife Fran. This is my son-in-law Lynn, my daughter Susan, my son Stephen.
Susan and Lynn's children.
and grandsons Aaron and Ryan, and granddaughters Audra and Whitney.
And our daughter Judy and her 3 children just left to go back to Houston. They were Judy and Jared, Destin, and Blake. And Rob. And our son Rob didn't make it for some reason.
We still don't know.
Whoa.
Rob's going at A&M?
Yes, uh-huh.
That's where Stephen's going next year?
No.
Stephen's going someplace now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Where's that?
Grayson County College. Going crazy.
Judy, you're an oil man. Are you an oil man?
No, I'm an insurance man.
Insurance man, that's right. We talked earlier. You insure people's health.
That's right.
And these are your kids.
That's
1, 2, 3, 4.
4, right.
So Judy has 3. And it makes
7.
And that's it.
We had 4 children and 7 grandchildren. We had 2 girls, 2 boys. We have,
Sons are not married yet, so they may have children.
we have 5 grandsons and 2 granddaughters.
And do you live with Paul?
She lives in Bonham.
In Bottom? I didn't know you were still around. I didn't. It just surprises me.
She's still here.
Now I know what I'm missing here. I'm missing one person right there.
Oh, with Miss Audra.
No.
Here comes Whitney, too.
And there's okay. I want to get everybody.
Here comes Whitney.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All we want to do is we're going to have this to remember you by. Okay. Now, tell us.
Dad.
No, no, that's not it. We want to hear about you. You're Ruby Dean.
I'm Ruby Dean,
And you're
wife of Charlie Dean. And I have,
We've heard your kids already. We heard. I've had Annette in here.
Annette and Robert Jack are my children.
And you lost Ruby.
Ruth Dean was my daughter that's dead. And
Can you tell us something about Charlie?
pardon?
Would you tell me something about my Uncle Charlie?
Well, he was a fine man. So I can say that I don't think they made him any better. I really don't. Do you, Annette?
Oh, no. He's Daddy.
I said it didn't make them any better, did they? Than Daddy, Charlie Dean. And I've got these wonderful children and grandchildren.
What? Did you marry Charlie? So you had to pick him out of somewhere. How did he get your attention?
Well, he just said he wanted to meet me, and so we did, and we dated for a couple of years and didn't know whether we'd get married or not, but we did. I had a daughter and he had a son.
He's a barber, wasn't he?
Do what?
Tell him about your barber. You went to get your hair cut?
Yeah, but I didn't know who he was then. Yeah, one time I went to LaRue to get my hair cut, and Charlie Dean cut my hair. And later on I met him, you know.
But he knew who you were.
Yeah, he knew who I was. And he had told someone he wanted to meet me, and so we met anyway. So he was a fine man, that's all I can say.
You gonna sit up? Yeah, why don't you sit
Yes.
up? Yeah.
Then that way I won't show the stomach.
Yeah, don't show your stuff.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
What, did we just talk? You interview us?
Oh, I can ask you a question, but
Okay.
you're Annette Pulley.
I am Annette Pullitt, and this is my husband, Dean Pullitt. And Charlie Dean was my dad. And I've always lived in Athens, and Dean's from Trinidad.
Where's Trinidad?
It's 15 miles toward the river,
Which river?
the Trinity River. So we moved there and lived there for 10 years, so I did get to live in a different town for 10 years, and 15 miles from Athens. And the only time, my mom said the only time she ever left me and my brother, Robert Jack, and my sister Ruth at home by ourselves was the night that Ernest was born. And Daddy took Mama over to Uncle Frank and Aunt Geneva's house so that she could be with Aunt Geneva, and left us kids there alone. And I think Mom, she'd always remember that she left us, but it was worth it because then I got a little baby boy cousin. Because I didn't have a cousin near my age, so we had a good time together growing up. A real good time.
If I remember correctly, Ernest lived with you for a while.
No, he used to come see us. Didn't live with us.
Okay. Then in the Depression, didn't you rent half your house out?
Okay, he lived in town in the house that we and my mother and Dad lived in. But that was another dean that they lived together with. Yeah. We still lived out in the country. We lived out in the country, so it was not us. I think it was maybe John Dean that they shared the house with that later became my mom and dad's home.
No. Okay, and what's the address of the house?
400 Royal Street.
That's it. Charlie built that house.
I think so. Or Uncle Frank, maybe.
I think Uncle Frank built the outside.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay.
They worked together.
Okay, yeah, they did.
And he'd do the inside, the carpentry, he'd do the
I
outside.
think so, and maybe even Uncle Walter too. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Now, did you ever have a crush on Durward?
No, he was too old.
Too old.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but Ernest was not my cousin because we were near the same age. Yeah, he used to come and eat crackers, and we'd play in the barn, eat peanuts.
Now, where'd this saying come from? I was the youngest one, and they always kept the tenderest piece of the chicken for me. That was the gravy. Do you know where that came from?
That maybe came from our Dean reunions. The tender piece of chicken with the gravy, huh?
Okay, I'm just trying to drag things out.
Yeah. And Aunt Geneva used to make the best macaroni and cheese. She would make it in this jewel tea bowl. And add real cheese and real milk and butter. It was so good. I like that. Good macaroni and cheese.
Do you remember her rice pudding?
Oh, I do remember her rice pudding. It was good too. Yeah, I did that. Something baked in the oven was good. Yeah, really fun. We had a good time growing up. Going swimming at Chalmers Lake and singing at the West Athens Baptist Church. And, dancing around downtown when they had the fiddling contest.
They still have that.
Yeah, still have that. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's my day in Athens when they have the fiddling contest.
And all the other days are in Athens?
Yeah.
I go up there, I park my car, I find me a good place to park the night before, and I leave it all night. So if it rains or anything, the next day, I'll have a place to go. And we keep all of our lawn furniture in there, so if we want to sit down for a while, we'll go to the car and get it. It's right there handy. So that's been a tradition
Kind of tradition.
for me
Yeah.
since 48.
And that's the year we got married. That's like a few years ago. And I'm so glad that Ernest came back to Athens so that he would plan and organize, and he and Gloria, with all the help from their kiddos, and I will have the Dean reunion again. And it's been real fun. And we're going to have to get together, get our movies all straightened up and have a good time together, and get our grandkids together and have fun. I'm looking forward to the next 10, 20. Sure there is.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You're not a car salesman, are you?
Huh?
You're not a car salesman,
Oh,
are you?
no, wouldn't think of it.
Let's be both
You want me in there too?
Yeah.
But you know, if someone forced me to buy a car, I guess I'd have to.
There's a little old lady, and where does she live?
Pasadena.
Right. Who else lives there?
No, I mainly sell police cars. I don't deal too much in family cars.
You do sell police cars?
Yeah. Oh, there's more money in that than you would ever believe. A lot of the movies that you watch are made down in Houston. Have my cars in them.
Such as? Which movie?
Okay, I'm sure you didn't waste your time seeing Cohen and Tate, but we furnished over half the cars for that movie. Don't waste your time renting a movie unless you get it for 99 cents. It's a trashy movie, but they tore up a lot of cars. In fact, I have one of the Mustangs out there at my place on 175 that they blew up. They blew up two of them. They had them sitting in the road, and they drove the 71 Ford, four-door hardtop through them, and they blew up the it blew up the two Mustangs. And I told them, don't bother under the hood. I need that. But they were highway patrol cars. And so everything burned except under the hood.
Huh.
And when I say it burned, it burned.
And the motors are good motors.
Yeah, but they weren't police cars. They were just
okay.
old Mustangs with four-cylinder engines in them.
Okay.
But you paint them up, paint them black, put two spotlights on them, and you put the shields on them. They look like highway patrol cars.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know how they make a lot of these movies. But they'll go out, like they'll block off a part of I-10 down there, and they'll take this picture over and over and over and over. And then they'll cut the parts that are good, and the rest goes on the floor. Okay, whenever they get ready for the talking part in that sequence, they go back to the studio, and they cut off half the left side of a car, half the right side of a car, and half the front or across the front on another car. Now you've seen them riding down the road, and here's that full picture. There's no road noise. Notice next time, there's no road noise. The reason for that, they're sitting in the studio. And all of this is going on because they've got the rest of it. See, there you are, and you'll notice that you're not seeing a lot of the landscape when they're talking. Just a bunch of blur. Okay, the reason for that is so there's no road noise. And they might have to shoot it 5 times to get what they're looking for.
What were some of the other movies they made?
Oh, all right. You remember the little boy down in Florida? Okay, you know John Walsh on TV.
No.
All right, John Walsh, Child Find. You're familiar with Child Find?
No.
Okay, you know the pictures of the little kids?
Right.
Okay. All right, John's son, Adam, was kidnapped down in Hollywood, Florida, out of a shopping mall. His mom had taken him to the market, and he wanted to play with some toys, and she went, and then she looked back, and he was gone. And so they called the police made a report, they looked around town, and his dad began to check around, and so he went to the next town and was checking around, and he went to the police station and asked them, have you heard anything about my son? What about your son? Mm-hmm. You don't know about my son being missing? No, we don't get bulletins on children. We just get them on adult criminals. And he got mad, very mad. And so he began to check into it and found out that our nation did not at that time have an in-depth child find program. And he went up and talked to the president.
Make our own movie?
Oh, let's see. I can't remember who the producer was. Universal City Studios.
Huh.
Universal City Studios.
Here, let's make our own movie.
Okay.
Okay, you're on the air.
Thank you. I'm Delbert Cook. This is my wife, Shirley. We're descendants of Belle Dean. Yes. She was not originally named Belle Dean. Her name at birth was given to her as Mary Jane. But she was the first child, and evidently her father doted her above all the rest because she ended up changing her name and to be called Belle. Her father's name was B-E-L-L. She added an E to hers, and henceforth she was known as Belle, B-E-L-L-E. And her son, her oldest son, Alvin, was my father. Her next son was Otis. Otis was in the U.S. Marine Corps, and he was killed in an auto accident in the Philippines, and his body was returned, and it's interned in the cemetery at LaRue, Texas. My father, Alvin Cook, married Otha Douglas, D-O-U-G-L-A-S-S, there's 2 S's, while he was living in Dallas. She was originally from Snyder, Texas, and they resided, after a certain period of time, they resided in LaRue, Texas with Belle. She married a gentleman by the name of Mode and went to live with him in Fort Worth, Texas. My father had 4 children. The oldest was Alvis. I was next, my brother John, and then my little sister Pat. Alvis resides in Brushy Creek, Texas, halfway between Athens and Palestine. My wife Shirley and I married in 1954. We have 4 children. Tina was the oldest. She was born in Tachikawa Air Force Base Hospital in Japan. Our next children, Fred, Chris, and Cindy, were all born in Jacinta City, Texas. They all reside in Harris County, Texas. We don't consider ourselves Houstonians. We consider ourselves Pasadenians. Our oldest son lives on Clear Lake, works at a refinery at Texas City. Our oldest daughter works for a law firm in Houston, married to a Houston airport police officer. They have 2 children. Fred, the next boy, has 2 children. He lives on Clear Lake. Chris lives in an apartment house behind our business. Our youngest daughter, Cindy, has 1 4-year-old son that is wilder than a March hare, and they live on the property right behind us. And every morning he sees me out opening up the business. He calls me on the phone and says, "Grandpa, can I come over?" Naturally, he comes over. Shirley's in the toy business, and every time she buys a toy, he has to experiment with it and see if it's satisfactory for other children. And the other day, she purchased this small yellow pedal wheel automobile, and he said, "Grandma, you don't have enough room in your storage area for that toy. I must take it home and put it in my yard." So along with lots of other toys, it's in his yard. Someday we might get them back and sell them. I guess that's about it. Oh, careful, careful.
I think Ernest will come help.
Oh, you do? Okay. I think so. You want to look in there real careful and see if it's aimed right? Who's that? Who's that, Parker? Who's that? Who's that? You're Kelly Dean, right? You married into the what? Dean family? Did you have any trepidation about that?
No, because I didn't know him yet. If I'd have met him first, that would have been different.
Would it have made a difference? Would you have done it anyway?
Yes, I would have done it.
Who's this? Is this the Dean here? Is this the Dean? Is this Parker? Is this the Parker? Who's that? Who's that? That's Annette Pulley. And is that light on? Is there a red light on at the back? At the back of the camera. Is there a red light on? Hey, we're on candid camera. Okay, I'm Matt Dean, Matthew Stanton, brother of John Anderson, George Edwards and Deborah Fay, brother-in-law to Carrie and Kim and David and Kent. And this is my son Parker. His name is Parker Howard Dean. The Howard comes from my wife's maiden name. My wife's maiden name is Howard. She used to be Kelly Jean Howard, but now she's Kelly Howard Dean. And we've come from Flower Mound, Texas, to be at this occasional Dean reunion at Family Life Center of First Baptist Church, Athens, Texas. And Kelly probably has some anecdote she wants to tell you about.
I don't have any anecdotes that I want to share.
Kelly helped with the registration today. She has everyone's address, so we can mail. So if people want a copy of this video, then we know where to send it. And Annette Pulley will probably edit it for us. We've had some of her copies for everyone else to see. She took them in 1947, 1951. And we've had a good time today. We hope to make it and be able to come to the next one.
The pretty light. That's so pretty.
Where was it?
Let's see, where's the mirror?
Right there.
Let me in the back.
You get all four of you in here?
Sit down.
Oh, we can't, you'll all fit. We'll get you all.
Doug, sit down, my marriage, you're real, I won't hurt you.
Okay, you're on candid camera.
Doug, just stop with that.
Okay, who's on? Who's talking? Who's the talker? Who are you guys?
My name is Douglas Tanner, and I'm a descendant from Dank and Edna Smith. This is my wife, Mary Jo. We have been married 44 years and have 2 children. Deborah Jewel Dees, she married a Dees, and Philip Tanner. Sylvia Tom. This is Mrs. Sylvia Lewis.
Yeah, Sylvia Smith Lewis. I am related to. Yeah, stop it and then start over.
Shut the door.
Well, my mom and papa was who?
Hillary Smith.
No,
And Dank Smith. Dank.
Dank and Edna Smith
Yeah,
were my great grandparents. I am Dent Tanner Smith's daughter.
Okay, Jen, take them.
I'm Dahlia Dean Tanner Wire. I live here, I've lived here all my life. I'm Jewel and Wallace's. I'm Douglas's sister. Oh, that's easier.
But Jewel and Wallace Tanner's children,
And granddaughter.
offspring.
And it's,
I'm the oldest granddaughter.
And they're really related. They're related on the Dean side and the Smith side.
Any fresh hours in there?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, the fresh
that's where
hour
it
side.
comes from.
The fresh hour side.
Now-
We're just kind of, almost everybody in town.
Did you know my grandmother?
What's her name?
Molly Geneva?
Fresh
Geneva.
Air, Molly Fresh Air.
Right.
I've
Yep,
heard the name.
that's it.
That was my grandmother.
We have some pictures of her.
Geneva Dean.
Yeah, Geneva D.
Geneva and mother were real good friends. Yes.
What did they do together?
They growed up together, went to school together.
And played together, dolls and
Just,
dropped the
yeah.
handkerchief, and, you know, all that sort of stuff.
And
I never thought of my grandmother doing that.
Yeah, I know.
we lived on Dean Street, and the Fresh Hours lived down on just down the street from us, and so we visited a lot.
How old? You're older than my dad. Did you remember him?
Yeah, darn it, I am.
That's a real camera.
I'm sorry. I knew your daddy.
You knew my dad, yeah?
Yeah, he's about Meridol's age, isn't he?
He's class of, she was born in 33, 32.
He's younger than we are.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he's
he's younger
59.
than.
He's 59.
Okay, no,
He's about to hit that big 60. 60. He's good.
Jimmy, that's about my age.
yeah.
No, you're Durward's age. Durward and Robert Jack. Durward's
Yeah.
69. He'd be 68 this year.
I'll be 69 in
Who was the one
January.
I'm thinking about? Who was your daddy?
My dad was Ernest.
Oh, he's in
Yeah, he's
there.
outside.
Right. And
Oh,
you said
okay.
you knew him.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
okay.
out there.
Yeah.
Glorious husband.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, now you get it all confused.
Now
Okay.
I'm confused completely. You're Ernest's son.
Right.
And you're still on candid camera.
And he worked, he worked for Arco
Right. And he dragged us all around the
for
world.
many years, he did.
For
Where were you
33
born?
years. I was born in America. I was the only one.
Well, he went overseas to other states, and
He stayed over there most of the time.
yeah, that's why we didn't see him a whole
But
lot.
every
We
year-
knew Deadwood, but we didn't know.
And we came back and we'd see Geneva.
Yeah,
We'd see Durward.
yeah,
We'd see Charlie,
Charlie Dean.
Ruby's husband. We'd see Carnell. No one's mentioned Carnell today. Did you know Carnell?
Yeah, I've heard of her.
Yeah,
She married Carnell Lindsay. She married Malcolm Lindsay.
Malcolm, yeah, she
Okay.
died.
Yeah, she died. By her own hand.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, no one's mentioned her.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for hanging out on Candid Carol.
He's getting it all zeroed in for me.
Need to get a little closer.
A little closer. Goodness, how close are we going to get?
I'll
Close now.
back it up a little bit. Okay, you ready? Who are you guys?
What did you say?
Who are you guys?
Go ahead.
Okay, what do you want me to tell you?
Come sit with
My name is Ernest Frank Dean, son of Frank and Geneva Dean. This is my wife Gloria. And we live in Athens. After working overseas for many years, we moved here in August of 1989. And it's been very good to get together with a lot of kinfolks today. It's amazing how many we got together after such a long period of time, some of which we hadn't seen before, or if we've seen them before, it had been so long we'd forgotten who they were. But I believe everybody had a good time. And Lord, what do you want to say?
Well, it's been a wonderful day, and we hope we'll have many more dean reunions. All the deans and their mates are wonderful people. It's just been a very satisfying day.
The other thing is I'd like to say that there are few that didn't make it that would have liked to have come, and because of health reasons they couldn't make it, and we did miss them, like BC and Gilbert and some others, and just hope that their health improves and maybe they'll be able to come see us next year, and also Harold.